From the top of the podcast, 2 mass shootings just happened this weekend in El Paso, Dayton, Ohio. 29 people are dead. You're probably saying, okay, this isn't anything new. Mass shootings happen. And you're right. Mass shootings are happening. And it's entirely too common of a thing. But some fun facts for you. Did you know that the following states do not require a permit for a gun? Arizona, Idaho, Wyoming, North Dakota, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, West Virginia, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Did you know that of all the deaths that are gun-related, 64% of them are considered homicides? A mass shooting is classified as a mass shooting if 4 or more people are killed.
I believe Congress changed it from 4 to 3.
Okay, so we lowered it. 3 people killed, according to Congress, is considered a mass shooting. In 2016, 39,000 people were killed by guns. Of those 39,000 people killed by guns, 23,000 were suicides. That's 59% of gun-related deaths in 2016 were committed by suicide.
Yes, that number has actually went down. That number has reached up to 85% before.
That is scary.
Yes.
That is scary. Did you know the majority of gun-related instances involve a handgun? A handgun averages about $200 to purchase. An assault rifle averages about $1,500 to purchase. So, assault rifle, about the same price as a MacBook. Handgun, about the same price as a Chromebook.
Yeah, you spoke about homicides, and I looked at a study where they compared it to other countries. It says that the rate of homicides is 25 times higher than other countries. Then they broke it down into age group. It said between the ages of 15 and 24, the rate was 49 times higher.
Incredible.
That was as of 2016.
Incredible. Tell me more.
Well, in 2017, 950 teens and children died by suicide. I know we talked about that already, but I thought I should point that out. So it seems like suicide is very high when it comes to guns.
Okay.
And that's not something I hear very often in the media. Do you?
And what statistic is this again?
Anything relating to suicide and gun violence.
No, that parallel is not something that's highlighted. Tell me something else, man.
One thing that we know about America is America loves guns.
Okay.
And the issue is, at least now, is the guns is getting in the wrong hands.
Okay. And
when people is calling for comprehensive gun laws, I mean something basic as universal backgrounds, because 71% of homicides that were done by guns, they all had previous records. So,
really?
Yes.
So you're saying 71% of the people who committed violent acts with guns had a previous record?
Yes.
Okay.
42% have felonies.
So 42% of people involved in gun-related acts have felonies.
Yes. This could have been avoided if they had universal background checks.
The 42% that have felonies.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say that. Yeah.
I don't want to say a misdemeanor could prevent you from having a gun, but
I guess that's debatable.
Yeah, it's fair. So let's talk about gun laws. Or let's talk about the right to have a gun. Okay, so I'm from the school of thought where guns are bad. I don't even understand why you even need a gun, if we're going to be for real. Like, somebody's going to break in your house, you're going to shoot them dead. What sense does that make?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm glad you brought that up, because there's been more homicides and suicides than there was people actually protecting themselves in self-defense by guns. I don't have the numbers, but I promise you, if you trust me, the number is bizarre.
So just to get back to that point, I don't even understand why people need guns. I don't get it. Like whenever we mention guns and people using them, someone always says, "Oh, I need to go hunting." Use a fucking bow and arrow. Why do you have to have a gun to go hunting? I'm from the South.
I was going to say that.
I'm from a town where people love to go hunting. They love their rifles. They love their guns. Never quite understood it as a child. If you're not the police, if you're not in the military, I don't understand why you need a gun. I just don't get it. Especially when there are alternative means to do things like hunt, fish, whatever the fuck you do with a gun besides kill people. Because that seems to be the only thing that's happening with these guns is innocent people are getting killed. And we have to ask ourselves, is the right to do something or the right to have something, at what point does that right becomes a problem to others?
Well, I was going to take probably a different approach. I personally don't like guns myself. I understand why people have guns. I understand the whole hunting technique. I don't think we're in the 1800s where you still have to use a bow and arrow.
When was the last time you saw a bow and arrow?
I think in PE.
We have some very high-powered
they gave us
bow and arrows.
It wasn't a real one, though, right? If I had a bow and arrow in PE, it wasn't real, right?
I don't know, dude. You're from Chicago. You guys do a lot of things.
Yeah, I hope my parents isn't listening because I did some bad things with that bow and arrow. But anyway, I'm digressing. The problem, like I said earlier, is the guns is just getting in the wrong hands, and you don't have any laws on a federal level to prevent them from doing it. What do you call it when you have a white supremacist, a gun, and incomprehensive gun laws? Get a mass shooting, right?
Right. But define the wrong hands.
Why can't people like my mother and father have guns? They don't break any laws. They did the right thing to purchase a gun. I have coworkers who purchase guns legally. They don't do anything wrong. They've never killed anybody. But I know, well, I don't know them personally, but I know mental ill people who was able to purchase guns. I know people who was on a freaking terrorist list, James, and still purchase a gun.
He doesn't know these
That's
people
what
personally.
I mean by the wrongs. I said that.
He doesn't know these people personally.
Okay, but I did know.
He knows of these people.
Right. But I do know the people who bought the guns legally. I know them personally.
Okay.
Okay? And they don't kill people. And I think that they have a right to have their gun.
I mean, it's in the Constitution. They have a right.
I don't care.
You got to care. It's in the Constitution.
That's good, but they should still. I care about the Constitution.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, but I'm going against the Constitution. You can argue for the right to have a gun all you want to. Me personally, I think that it's just at this point it's stupid. I don't see why we need to have guns. I just don't see the need why a civilian
what do you
needs
suggest?
a gun.
Knocking on everybody's door, have the military say, "Give me your gun."
You know, I don't know. I'm open to having that conversation with you right now. So, like the problem of guns, like how do we get rid of the guns? Is that what you're asking me?
That's exactly why I'm asking you.
Okay.
Because according
or how do we get rid of the gun problem? Because I do not think that we can get rid of the guns on the streets.
You said that
I don't like
you don't
guns.
know why people have guns.
I don't know.
So
why.
it sounds like you're suggesting is for everyone to have their guns taken away from them. And I'm asking you, realistically, how would that look?
Realistically,
is the military going to get involved in this?
Realistically, that's not even fucking possible.
Okay.
It's not possible.
Well, I guess no sense of debating that.
I'm thinking of just the ideology behind it. Like, why do you need a gun? What is the need? And the number one answer is self-defense. But when you dig into the numbers, nobody is defending themselves.
Well, that's true.
Nobody's defending themselves. So that's a false reason.
Narrative, yeah.
It's a false narrative.
Yeah.
I wanted to say false choice because I keep seeing it on the damn news everywhere. But
false choice.
yeah, but No, it's a false narrative. So if you're telling me that guns are needed to protect myself or protect my family, and then the statistics turn around and tell me actually your family is killing themselves because suicides are up 59% with gun usage. So your family is killing yourself with the very weapon that you're supposed to be having to protect that family member. That makes little sense to me, but no, I don't think
I'm
the
sorry
military...
to say this. First of all, I'm all about laws, and you should implement laws to prevent certain people from having guns. Just like for people who have guns at home, there should be stricter laws about having storage, how they store your guns.
Yeah. Now, how do you hold it accountable? Number one,
I was gonna ask you that actually.
I don't know. You want laws to tell people you need to put your gun in this special gun case and you need to have it locked up. Okay, well, so who is going to check to see if this shit's locked up right?
I agree, James. When I was reading that, I don't know. Okay. But that is how most people die by suicide, is they got hold to a weapon that was at home and ended it.
And the majority of the mass shooters, they actually get the weapon from home.
That is absolutely true.
Unless you're the guy who did the mass shooting in Vegas. Yeah. He spent over $70,000 on weapons. And
if they implemented a law, they could implement a law that stops you from buying multiple weapons like that on a federal level. You think we have that? No. This man bought how many guns? Over 100 guns.
Congress, the president, your mayor, your governor.
All of them.
They all have dropped the ball.
All of the... I don't mean to sound like Trump. All of the presidents dropped the ball. They could have did more.
This is not just a presidential problem. This is a problem that is...
Congress, too.
I said that. Congress.
Yeah. They have dropped the ball for decades.
The Congress, the president, your mayor, your governor, your alderman.
I live in Chicago. We got some of the strictest gun laws. If people actually complied with us on a federal level, maybe we could have some sensible gun laws here. What I'm trying to say is, in a simple fact, and this is going to sound bizarre, people in the South is not going to like me. I want the same laws that we have in Chicago to be implemented in all 50 states, plus more.
But see, that doesn't help you out, my friend.
How?
Because Chicago shooting motherfuckers up left and right.
Well, let me tell you something. 80%, and this is as of 2012. No, I don't have a more recent statistic. As of 2012, 80% of guns come from other states. So with my idea, that would stop the loopholes and things like that, because you could go right to Indiana, right across the border, and go purchase a gun, come back and kill one of our kids.
But here's the thing, though. It's your kids killing your kids. So really...
because they're getting access to guns. The problem is access to guns.
No, the problem isn't access to guns. The problem is value for life.
So you don't think...
We have to ask ourselves, with the problem of Chicago's problem is definitely value of life. We have to ask ourselves why life is not being as valued as it should be here in Chicago. But then when we go across the country... I think across the country, that's an access to gun situation.
Well, let me tell you something. Nobody wants to hear that when they have 35 people shot or 7 people shot in a park overnight. I agree that we need to figure out why we do the things we do. But right now, we need action. And right now, I'm telling you right now, we need to stop access to guns for certain people. That is a huge problem. You could go to a gun auction with no identification and purchase a gun.
Absolutely. It's called a gun.
You can go to certain gun places, private, right, and have no background check.
Yeah.
What? And then you coming back here, dishing these guns out in our neighborhoods. We already have a poverty problem and things like that. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I don't think it's as clean cut as just cutting the guns, my friend. Most countries that have taken on gun violence and actually gotten the numbers down, they did it on a multifaceted approach. They did gun laws. They had social health programs to try to figure out why people were killing each other. They poured money into the communities that were largely affected by the gun violence. We can't just sit here and think that gun violence is a one checkbox away from being fixed.
No, see, that's no.
But you know, I hear you, and I
but that's
and I hear you, and I feel